What's good, people? What's good? Decided if you pull it up next weekend. I can't pull up, dude. I can't. I'm setting something up, though, real soon. But next week's event, I won't be at. It just got too crazy here in Arizona. What's up, Santana? Beautiful scent of the day, Joel. What up, Smurf? Es Alhambra Toro. Okay, I see you. What up, Kicks? Kicks, you get your stuff yet, man? Let's see. What up, C2? What up, guys? What up, Omar? How y'all doing tonight, man? Let me know, man. Let me know your scent of the days. What's popping? What y'all got going? I really need to organize my shelves today because this shelf down here, I mean, I had to make room for the top 2 racks, which are brand new, but all this stuff is unacceptable. Completely unacceptable. Scent of the day, Mahir Legacy. Word. Good night. Beautiful C2. That's good to hear, man. Whole ass ice, you gotta be feeling good. I see I'm putting some nerds in timeout real quick. Putting nerds in timeout. A lot of kids stealing their mom's phones tonight. Ton of kids stealing their mom's phones tonight. Other scent of the days, post them. I see a lot of nerds want their 2 seconds of fame tonight. I'm happy to give it to you. Hope it was fun. Unfortunately, you got to give your mom her phone back. That's disrespectful. Can't be stealing our mom's phones. How y'all doing tonight, man? Mahir Legacy. Beautiful. I found a couple crazy grabs tonight, Kicks. I'll share it with you later. You know, Shirley, I almost bought Afternoon Swim today. I almost bought it. I'm gonna wait though. I don't really need the fragrance until later in the year, but it's a goodie. It's a goodie. You know, I don't even think Shirley has the Zaharoff, to be honest. I mean, it was delivered, but she's not at the location it was delivered to, so I don't even think she's enjoying it yet. Let's talk. Thoughts on Joe Milano wild card going to pull the trigger on Game of Spades? I mean, it's okay. It's okay. Surely, I still haven't received that package, but I was telling everybody, even with the send outs of the packages, like the mail something's going on. I don't know if it's Memorial Day. I don't know if it's the tariffs. I don't know what, but or like the lack of staff, but packages are taking insane right now. UPS, USPS. I mean, it's crazy right now. So I haven't even got the return to sender yet from Seattle. So we'll see what happens, but I'm still waiting on it. Born to Stand Out, Mary Jane, Essential Harmony, Quantum, Carolina Herrera. I mean, there's a lot of good cannabis fragrances, a lot of great ones. I think Born to Stand Out's the one that I gravitate towards the most. Hey, Smurf. I hate to do it to you, buddy. I hate to do it to you, buddy. I'm gonna send you an email tonight, Smurf. You screwed yourself out of a bottle, brother. I'm sorry, man. Too much. No, it'll get back to me safely. I have no doubts about that. Well, like I said, as soon as I get it back, we'll get everything fixed and have it back. But Smurf, on the other hand, is screwed himself out of a bottle tonight. What's up, John? Good to see you, buddy. Have you heard about the new off and on rare reef? Personally, I have carbon. It's very good, but still no idea. I mean, I have carbon, and I think carbon's great. Yeah. Carbon's a phenomenal fragrance. It's the best hybrid of Tuscan and ombre leather out there. But you know, to be honest, I just recently smelled the new Eau de Ombre leather and compared it to original ombre leather, and it's so better. So, I mean, if you're cheap and you need to save the money, you can always spruce this up. But Eau de Ombre leather, the actual fragrance, is gonna kill all the clones and original ombre leather. So now that that's a factor, I think you kind of have to just get the Eau de Ombre leather and call it a day. I mean, it's only $100, so you pay the 30-ish bucks for off and on rare carbon. You don't really truly get ombre leather. You get close to it. You pay an extra 70 bucks and you get a fragrance that you'll actually wear for a couple of years, and it'll blow everything out of the water. I mean, again, I rock rare carbon. I have combos for rare carbon to get it 1-to-1 to ombre. But since Eau de Ombre leather is the best and there isn't a clone for that yet, I actually think people need to consider the OG Eau de Ombre leather, not OG ombre leather. What's up, Ons? How do you feel about buying cologne at Macy's? I never purchased fragrance from Macy's. No point. No point in purchasing fragrance from Macy's. At least where I'm at in my journey. Not paying retail no more. I don't think I'll ever pay retail for a fragrance, ever. No need. No need to pay retail in this climate at all. I don't care if you have the money or not. Paying retail today is useless. What up, Jane? Oh, dang, I didn't realize I wasn't scrolling down. Best dupe for imagination, Sahib Intense. I have several videos out on this. It's not Game of Spades. It's not Aqua Dubai. It's not Intimation. It's Sahib Intense. Take a screenshot of it. Best imagination clone, 1-to-1. Best performance, best density out of all the imagination clones. Ard Al Zafran. Will that show up for you? Right there. Take a picture of that. That's the house. Easily best imagination. I have original imagination right over there, and this just beats everything else out. Tom Ford Wood. What about Tom Ford Wood? Wood what? Is it unisex or only for men? Which fragrance are you referring to, love? What's your take on the brand Goldfield and Banks? Any worth trying from the house? I've tried a few Goldfield and Banks. Nothing to me worth retail price. But they're a great house, high quality, fun to smell, but more challenging because they're a more upper echelon house. So you really need to not blind buy anything. You really need to get your hands on a discovery set, or just be in a prime area like a Neiman Marcus, a Saks Fifth, Bloomingdale's, a Scent Room, anything like that, to really explore the house, because it's like Amouage. You know, you can't blind buy anything from Amouage. You can barely blind buy anything from like Xerjoff. So with Goldfield and Banks, you have to tread lightly. If you find your fragrance, it'll be a signature fragrance. But don't blind buy any of it. But a very pristine house, a lot of high-end material, just, again, very character piece type of fragrances. How do you find a trusted place to not buy retail? I mean, there's tons of places. Fragrance by CA, Joma, Max Aroma, Lucky Scent, Facebook groups. There's all these foreigner websites selling stuff. Really nobody is buying fragrances. Or sorry, if you are, God bless you, but really nobody in FragCom is paying retail for anything unless they just have to have it and are not patient. Even if you just simply Google a fragrance, 1 out of the first 5 results is going to be an available fragrance, not for retail. You know what I'm saying? So it's pretty easy in today's world to not have to pay retail for a fragrance. If you want to get the lowest possible price, that's a little bit harder because you have to investigate sellers and start going black market or third-party markets and stuff like that. But to not pay retail is very easy today with fragrances. OG ombre leather, you think can only be pulled off if you're wearing leather? Absolutely not, no. Ombre leather is a formal, semi-formal, and business fragrance. I don't really take it as an upscale, romantic, date night, late night type of fragrance because it's not that sexy of a fragrance as far as romance is concerned. There's almost no sweetness to speak of. There's some light floral and fruity touches with ombre leather, but it's mostly just a hyper masculine formal fragrance. So you can manipulate that and call it sexy because it makes you look super masculine, and in that regard it could be sexy. But when I say a sexy fragrance, I'm saying a fragrance that's upscale and plays with a soft touch of sweet or a heavy touch of sweet. Generally, I think masculine, sexy fragrances should lean masculine with soft touch sexy in the background. But there are plenty of uber sweet, sexy, masculine fragrances that lean forward 60 to 80% sweet and have the masculine touches in the back. Like Grand Soir from MFK is a great example of that. Extremely sweet fragrance with the masculine touches in the back from Amber. Oud Satin Mood from MFK. Oud and Rose, sweet, forward, jammy, powdery fragrance with masculinity in the back from Oud. You know, if we talk designers, Jean Paul Gaultier, Dior Homme Intense. I mean, there's just so many. Spice Bomb, 1 Million. Those are all sexy, masculine, but super sweet, forward-leaning. But I think a super sweet, forward-leaning fragrance tends to make a man not less masculine, but less aged. There's a lack of maturity in a super sweet, forward, sweet fragrance. So I generally think that when you're messing with a sexy masculine fragrance, you probably shouldn't be more than 20, 30%, less than 30% sweet and more masculine. The sweet should be soft touch, and then you feel older. But, you know, you can play with the psychology of that, because if you're an older gentleman and you want to feel younger, you can lean with a sweet forward fragrance with a soft touch of masculinity, and vice versa. If you're a young person, you can lean in a masculine forward fragrance with a touch of sweet. For instance, like a Javoy, Psychedelic, a Javoy Fire at Will, Coromandel, even like Absolute Aventus, which is like masculine forward, soft touch sweet from Pineapple. different fragrances like that. But again, that's all just my opinion on the psychology of like when you're messing with a sexy masculine fragrance. And again, talking about ombre leather, that is a almost purely masculine fragrance because there's less than 10% of sweetness in that fragrance. So you're not even playing on sweet almost at all with that fragrance. So it leans business professional, professional formal, no sexiness to speak of, but in the classy manness of the fragrance, a woman could perceive that as sexy, but she's not going to think that you're hitting on her or interested in her by wearing ombre leather. She's just going to think you're going about your formal business day and she just happens to be around. Whereas if I'm wearing a sweeter fragrance, there's love in the air, so to speak. Let me catch up a little bit. Yeah, I mean, again, I share all this information on my channel. Have you tried light blue summer vibes? You mean Dolce & Gabbana, TT? The only retail for me that I would buy is if it was really hard to find or discontinued. Yeah, but I mean, 95% of the community is not in a situation like that. I would say almost 99% of the community is never in a situation where they're trying to buy a discontinued fragrance. They don't even know if fragrance is discontinued, with the exception of maybe some of the heavier hitters like Perfumo and stuff like that. But most people, once they find out it's discontinued, they don't need to have it. They'll just go buy a clone. And if a clone doesn't exist, they'll move on and try to find a different fragrance. Okay. Is it worth buying in your opinion? Which fragrance, Jamal? Lots of knockoff colognes and perfumes on Amazon. Yeah, but there's a lot of originals on Amazon as well. Curve is the OG, not really. I see two, Boadicea the Victorious behind. What are those two? Orica and Hanuman. Hanuman. We have Hanuman here. And then we have Orica here. Thoughts on Amouage Interlude Man from Bois du Portugal or Bois du Portugal? Not really comparable to me. They're both challenging wares. I think Bois du Portugal is less challenging. But it can be challenging if you're not into fougere, because fougere has a timelessness to it sometimes, but also can come off old school. But I think a fougere is so Bois du Portugal, if you're not dealing with a clone and you're actually talking about the real Creed fragrance, I think is a timeless fougere. But you got to remember it was made in the late 70s. So there is a timelessness to it, but there is also an agedness to it. Like it has a kind of robustness, history to the fragrance, and you can smell it. Interlude Man is a challenging fragrance. However, if it speaks to you, it's extremely signature. But again, if you took 100 people and gave them Interlude Man, probably only 40 people would like it, but those 40 people would be absolutely in love with it. It is not a mass appealing fragrance. It is a very popular fragrance, but typically only with the niche crowd and with the collector crowd. In the general public, most people that try Interlude Man feel it's too challenging. Another reason I think Amouage is challenging is because a lot of their scents don't feel like 25 and down fragrances, meaning if you're 30 and up, you will find a fragrance that speaks to you and that you appreciate from Amouage due to the complexity being more age up. But the mass consumer market being under 30 who messes with Amouage would find most of their fragrances pretty challenging. But if you're willing to sit through it, try fragrances, go into a Neiman Marcus, I think you will find at least a fragrance that speaks to you. Same for Xerjoff, but I think Xerjoff has more commercial type of frags. When you talk about a fragrance like 40 Knots, More Than Words, Torino 21 or 22, Herba Pura, Herba Gold, Naxos. These are fragrances that generally are well received in the 70-80% range with most of the community. The other fragrances that are just as good, Apollina, Renaissance, Monkey Special, you know, a lot of those more off the beaten path type of fragrances are just as good, if not better than the other ones I named, but a lot of people either don't know about them or they're more of a challenging 25 and up type of wear, so the general public doesn't really investigate those as much. Thoughts on Dior Sauvage? Dior Sauvage EDP and Parfum are really good. The EDT should always be avoided, and if you're 25 and down, I recommend Sauvage EDP or EDP or Parfum based off your preference. If you're 25 and up, I think you should just upgrade to Sauvage Elixir because it feels more aged. It feels like it's for an older gentleman because it's a spicier fragrance. I just got Afro Leather, was going to wear it to the club, but everybody I was going with said I shouldn't, including my girlfriend. What's your thoughts on Afro Leather? It reminded me of Dior Elixir. I don't think of Dior Elixir when I think about African leather. If you have friends that are in that wear fragrances but they're not collectors and they're young, I would never really ask those individuals about fragrance because their noses aren't trained. It's almost like if my friends eat fast food, I wouldn't really ask them if a steak is good because you're asking them about something that's completely outside of their weight class. I'm amazed how many people who have less than 5 fragrances on their shelf suddenly think they're an expert on what smells good and what smells bad. I'll give you a great example of this. I was at Cafe Rio, which is like a Mexican kind of buffet style pick up your food and go type of place. And I was walking by and I was on the phone and I'm sitting there like this at the cash register. And this girl was like, hey, what are you wearing? And I wear a new fragrance every day. So I'm like, I don't know, I'm wearing something. And she said, yeah, you shouldn't wear that because it smells like baby powder. Now, she's fully entitled to her opinion about what I smell like. But at the end of the day, she is working around burritos, tortillas, beans, cheese, peppers, onions, and grease and cheese all day long. So I'm going to take that feedback with a grain of salt. It's like you're surrounded in Mexican food and somehow I'm supposed to believe that you can smell my fragrance and smell it accurately. So, you know, I just told her, you know, I'm surprised you even have a nose, you know, sitting behind that counter with all that grease and cheese on your apron. And I just kept it moving. But I said, you know, thanks for your feedback. But again, like if you have friends and they have an opinion on like, yo, that smells good or that smells bad, you have to take it with a grain of salt because if that person has Acqua di Gio Profondo and Gucci Guilty and Dior Sauvage on their counter or like Curve or Cremo or something on their shelf, you're not wearing the fragrance for them. And it also depends too. Like if you're around a bunch of regular people who don't have a nose, okay, maybe you rock Sauvage Elixir, Dior Homme Intense, Gucci Guilty Elixir, Givenchy Boisé, or Gentleman Reserve Privé, or something simple that's mass appealing, or Versace Eros EDT, EDP, or Parfum, just because you know it'll be somewhat familiar to them, and so it's an upgrade for them to smell you. But if I'm shooting above my weight class, like say I'm hollering at a pretty girl or I'm going to be in a place where I know there's going to be a lot of high caliber women and I'm trying to be impressive, then you just kind of have to ignore everybody and wear what you feel best fits you as a person, and that's going to complement the space. So now back to your question of African leather. African leather is a late night dance floor Sauvage Elixir style, only in that it kind of has that bad boy edginess while still having a touch of that spicy ambery sweetness that you get. But it's a bachelor type of fragrance. So if you were going out with the intentions of being like a star-studded killer amongst the ladies, you ignore all your friends and you wear Afro leather right away. But if you were just casually going out with friends trying to rock an upscale fragrance like African leather, then yeah, your friends were right. You should put it away. But it's not what the feedback is. A lot of times it's who's giving you the feedback. You know, it's like trying to ask your parents something about a question related to college or high school. They're not in college. They're not in high school. The last time they even had homework was 30, 40 years ago. Why would I be asking my parents about a situation they haven't encountered in 40 years, right? So it's not what they say. It's you have to factor in who said what they said. You know what I'm saying? And that should give you context as to whether or not that feedback is reliable. And I also think when it comes to feedback in general, a lot of people don't ask enough people about their fragrance. Like if you want actual public feedback about your fragrance, get a lot of people to tell you. Don't just ask a couple of people. Ask 20, 30 people, and then you'll get a good sense. And even then, you might not have a great picture, but you'll have a much better picture than just asking your friends. It's been 2 years since I bought retail. There's so many good deals in the frag community, but you got to have trustable sellers. Recently grabbed Torino 24 for $135. Yeah, you got to know where to get the fragrances. Where's Omar? Sorry guys, I'm trying to catch up. Should I get YSL myself as my first designer? I mean, you'll like it, but smell it before you buy it. Don't blind buy it. I think YSL myself is the worst fragrance in the entire YSL line, but many people like it and many people buy it, so I'm not going to give you my bias. I'm going to tell you the facts. The facts is that like 80% of people who shop in a Sephora or an Ulta Beauty who smell YSL myself do like the fragrance. They're not madly in love with it, but it has some good utility. I think if you like YSL fragrances, you should definitely check out L'Homme, La Nuit de L'Homme, Blue Electrique, Tuxedo, Baby Cat, and YSL Y. You might find that you might like any of those fragrances more. I know I certainly do, and they're all around the same price. So check those out too and see if you don't change your mind on which one you want. I need a water bottle. Give me 2 seconds, guys. Okay. Have you explored NSAR fragrances? I haven't, All World. DM me on some recommendations you have on Instagram. So where do you recommend getting samples? There's a lot of great decant sites. My absolute favorite website for decants is scentdecant.com, but you have Decant X, you have Micro Perfumes, you have Scent Split, you have Lucky Scent. There's a ton of decanting sites, but the reason I like scentdecant.com the best is because you generally get a 30% off your entire purchase of everything individually. So when I'm getting decants, I don't like 5 mLs, I don't like 10 mLs, I don't like travel sprays. I just want to try the fragrance, so I want to spend the least amount of money possible for my decant. So I want a 1 or a 2 ml, but the problem is that 80% of the decant sites that sell decants will only give you a 1 or 2 ml with no atomizer, and that's the worst way to try a fragrance. When you have to dab yourself with a fragrance, you do not get the right distribution to actually judge the fragrance. So Scent Decant, on their 1 and 2 ml concentrations, which is the least amount of money you want to pay for a sample, they actually come with atomizers. There are other sites sometimes that come with atomizers on 2 mLs or less, but most of them, like 80-90% of them don't.
And that's why I have a problem, because they force you to spend more money on a 3, 5, or 10 ml or travel spray just to get the atomizer so that you can actually try the fragrance. And at the end of the day, if you're trying a fragrance, you don't want to spend any money on the sample. You want to spend the least amount of money possible. So Scent Decant's cool because I can spend the least amount of money possible, and they're going to give me 30% off my entire purchase. And my 2 ml or 1 ml is going to come with an atomizer so I can actually spray it on for the day. And a fun fact is that if you have a 2 ml sample of any fragrance, generally that is about 20 to 27 sprays. So 2 ml is plenty of fragrance to evaluate a fragrance. If you're a heavy sprayer, that's like 1 to 2 full day wearings of a fragrance. If you're a soft sprayer, you know, a 4 to 6 spray kind of guy, you can have, you know, 2 to 4 days of sampling with a fragrance off of just a 2 ml. So that's another concern, is a lot of people think they need more mLs to evaluate a fragrance, when 2 ml will get you generally at bare minimum 20 sprays, which is plenty to evaluate a fragrance. Wifey don't like sweet frags on me. She wasn't a fan of Trace Oros on me. I enjoy it. Give it time. And one thing I find so far with Trace Oros is a lot of people don't wear it appropriately. That is a cold weather and or nighttime and or special occasion fragrance. It is not a casual nightly wear. If you're going to a restaurant, if you're going to a theater, if you're going to a concert, if you're going on a special occasion at night, or it's cold weather night, that fragrance is amazing. But because it is a gourmand, you can't recklessly wear that fragrance. It is a special occasion fragrance. And you also have to know your woman, because my wife likes non-sweet fragrances on me as well. You know, she'll accept some light florals, but she mostly wants masculine, robust, uber manly fragrances. Like, for instance, Diaghilev from Roja, probably one of arguably the most masculine fragrance on the planet. So my wife likes no sweetness at all on me. Does that mean I'm not going to wear sweet fragrances? Absolutely not. She don't know what she's talking about. But I'm not going to not compliment her vibe either. I'm going to meet her halfway and have some offerings that are uber masculine. So, you know, I'll throw on the Diaghilev. You know what I'm saying? I'll throw on the Danger. I'll throw on the Herods. I'll throw on the Night Legends. I'll throw on the Straight to Heaven. You know what I'm saying? But if I'm going to go out on my special occasion, she's just going to have to take it. Trace Oros, I don't care what my wife says. When I wear Trace Oros, I get mad compliments, infinite compliments with Trace Oros. Again, the good news is that since you like it, you can spend time with it and your wife can see how it radiates off your skin. And remember, it's an extrait, so 2 sprays, 3 sprays maximum. This is a fragrance that's really in the air. If you're indoors, do less sprays. If you're outdoors, you can get away with 3 to 4 because it's just a beautiful wind wafting experience. Here's another hack. So with sweet gourmand type fragrances, it's good to have a woody base, linear, plain fragrance. So I'll give you a for instance. This is at its core honey, brown sugar, plantain, and pineapple, right? So very sweet. However, what goes good with pineapple, guys? A woody base, a Ventus. So if I want to ground this and make it less sweet, then I can combo it with something like a woody base fragrance like Ancre Noir a la Extreme, $20. This essentially is a very ambery, resinous, burnt ember, fire pit type of fragrance. This smells like after you've been at a bonfire when all the flame leaves and you're just left with these smoking hot red ambers. This is just a smoking, woody, birchy type of experience. And by itself is a little uber masculine for most people. But this is an incredible combo fragrance for whenever you have a sweet fragrance and you want to tone it down with more masculinity. So here's a great thing. If your wife loves masculine scents on you, then sometimes what you might want to experiment with is like 1-to-1. So go one and put the more masculine fragrance as the top. So I might do, in fact, let me get a test strip of this. So if my wife's saying, you know what, that Trace Oros is too sweet, honey, but I love the fragrance, I'm going to put 1 spray of Trace Oros, right? Get that sexy honey sugar cube or honey brown sugar, etc. And then I'm going to take 1 or 2 sprays of a woody linear fragrance on the top. And now I basically have a more Aventus-y pineapple fragrance that's still a little bit sweet, but it's more masculine. And see how she takes that. There's a lot of woody-based type of fragrances you can mess with for layering, but I think Ancre Noir à la Extrême is one of the best fragrances to have in your collection to take any of your sweet fragrance and knock it down to make it more masculine. And we're making the pineapple fragrance more Aventus-y with this combo, but you can use this with just about any other citrus or fruit to tone it down, because woods is in the base of like 90% of perfumery. So it's always a good way to knock a fragrance down. And it smells incredible. This is basically Chanel's Sycamore, but a little bit better because it's got more resins in it. Absolutely love that. And then it tones it down. The pineapple and brown sugar is a little less loud. The honey is less loud. And it's a more woody fragrance, and automatically you've manipulated it. So give that a shot. You know, tone your fragrance down, play with some stuff, and see if she doesn't like that. You got your nose on Latafa bourbon yet? I have. And I have Zanzibar and Assad. Actually, no, I gave away Assad. Bourbon I've only tried, and I do have Zanzibar. I think bourbon's extremely redundant. Yeah. Zanzibar is a bit of a remix to the Jean Paul Gaultier line. Assad is a remix to Sauvage Elixir. That's what those fragrances do. So it's kind of just like a hype beast type of fragrance. I like Dolce & Gabbana the One, but I want to try something similar. Caprice, what you can do is you can go on Fragrantica.com, type in Dolce & Gabbana the One, pull that fragrance up, scroll all the way to the bottom, and then there will be a little section that says people who like Dolce & Gabbana the One also like, and it'll show you a giant list of fragrances that are similar to in vibe or in notes to that fragrance. So give that a shot and see if you can find a fragrance to upgrade from. And then when you click that fragrance, it'll show you its score based on longevity, DNA, all that, and you can read into it and see if that's something you want to pick up. Definitely give that a shot. Oh man, this must be spoiled or something. Let me get a different water, guys. I'm sorry. All right, SB, I'm thinking about next pickups are going to be YSL L'Homme and Le Parfum, but my friend is trying to get it to Cobalt Elixir. Thoughts? Yeah, Jag, you know those fragrances are good. You've done enough research on those two fragrances. From what I remember, Crash Boat was really good. Got to revisit my Decant. I never heard of that fragrance. I got the PDM Sedley Clone Latafa Silver Horse. Yeah, Mahir Legacy Silver. Beautiful scent. We'll wear it to the beach tomorrow. Can't wait for it to age. Yeah, it does age really nice, Donnie. Do you have any that smell like making my family proud? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it depends on how old you are, though. Making your family proud as an 18-year-old is much different than a 20-year-old, a 30-year-old, a 40-year-old. So tell me your age, and I'll give you the fragrance. What's up, Pixel? I'm going to the mall tomorrow. Do you have any recommendations for me to try? Hey, Jag, you know my opinion about your recommendations, man. You need to buy more fragrances, man. Your list is way too big. You need to stop smelling fragrances and buy more. We have a shop in Australia that has dupes. I got inspired by Lin Sumi. Beautiful fragrance. I'm telling you, best recommendation, man. So good. Smells like mint, then powdery. Great office blast off me. Yeah, man. Lin Sumi is, to me, top 2 best office fragrances of all time. And even if you didn't wear this in the office, even just as an upscale casual fragrance, it's hard to find a good green fragrance that doesn't smell synthetic. This smells so natural, but has such good projection. So unique, man. I will always buy multiple bottles of Lin Sumi. And if you guys haven't smelled it, it's one of the best in the Lalique house. Probably in my top 2 best from the house. Appreciate you grabbing that, Lachlan. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Inspired by Lin Sumi. Smells like a rainy day walking in a garden. Yeah, absolutely, Lachlan. Let's see. Jack should try Paco Rabanne. Oh, dang. I'm really behind. I'm sorry, guys. Let me catch up. Sent you tried Byredo Sundays. It's okay to me. It's okay. I give it a 7 out of 10. My go-to fragrance is Assad and Fakar Black. Okay, so YSL White and Sauvage Elixir with a twist. I see. Liquid Brune. Okay. Hayati Black. Yes, it's nice. Have you tried French Avenue's After Effect? It's the clone for Initio Side Effect, and it smells like rubber. French Avenue's After Effect is pretty close to actual Side Effect. So if you felt like that fragrance smelled like rubber, then you'll probably think Side Effect smells like rubber. If you're going to get myself, I would recommend the EDP over the Parfum. I'm younger, though. It could be cheaper, and I think it smells better. The EDP generally lasts longer. The Parfum smells a little more muffled and a little less projective and loud. That's usually your general rule of thumb. Is Tarothi Blue still worth it? Absolutely. I'm curious, though. Lin Sumi Lalique was average and not online saying no good. Are they gatekeeping? Lachlan, yes, they are gatekeeping. I mean, here's the thing. Lin Sumi is always sold out. If it comes out online, give it a week or 2, it'll be sold out every single time. So that should tell you something about the fragrance. Best niche to start. I have Citizen Jack Absolute and N4 Neon. The best niche house to start with is Mancera, and they have a lot of great entry-level offerings. I think the easiest fragrance to buy from Mancera to feel expensive and to feel good is probably Amberful. But they have so many great offerings. I just think Amberful is the most blind buy worthy. And you can get that for like $100. Screw buying decants. Just go to Neiman Marcus, ask for testers on. Listen, the problem is that Neiman Marcus doesn't carry everything. When you really start learning about niche perfumery, you'll come to realize really quickly that Neiman Marcus probably only carries 1/4 of all of the niche fragrances available. So you can't just only rely on Neiman's. Now, if you're new to fragrance and you haven't smelled a lot of niche fragrances, Neiman's is a great place to start. But a lot of people can't handle the pressure of salespeople at Neiman's, and they don't know how to navigate really well, so they're actually better off buying decants at home. It's a much more comfortable buying experience. But you do have some merit to what you're saying, but you can't only smell fragrances at a Neiman's. I was just in Hollywood last month, and I went to a place called the Scent Room, and every single fragrance they carried, Neiman Marcus did not carry a single bottle from any fragrance I saw in the Scent Room. So there were hundreds of bottles. Well, I don't want to say hundreds. There were at least 100 or 200 bottles out that I've never seen in a Neiman Marcus. So, and that's just one store. So you can't only rely on Neiman Marcus for sure. What fragrances are best for the office? My 2 favorite fragrances for the office is Tom Ford Grey Vetiver EDP and Lalique's Lin Sumi. But a couple of others that I wear in the office without question is Acqua di Gio Eau de Parfum. I'm an older individual. I'm 36, so I wear Acqua di Gio EDP because it's more interesting to me. But I would wear Profondo if I were you. It's a little bit more age friendly. Vetiver Sensual from Mancera is an excellent office fragrance, and you can get that for like 70, 80 bucks right now. Lalique White is an incredible office fragrance, probably the best white fragrance I have. Bentley for Men Black Edition. If you want to go more niche, you know, something like Harrods from Roja, really nice. Hanuman from Bodhi the Victorious. This to me right now is the best blue fragrance in the niche world. Casa Muradi's from Zerzov's Mephisto, best blue you'll smell in a while. But that's a more classy blue, so I think it works in the office. Even a fragrance like Lalique Equus, amber and vetiver, very simple but charming, office friendly. You can get this at Burlington, 15 bucks for Mont Blanc Presence. I normally would never in a million years recommend a Mont Blanc fragrance because most of them are too synthetic for me. But Mont Blanc Presence smells like you just got out of a Jaguar. If you need to go like even cheaper, like we're talking dirt cheap, you can go with something like Metal Rain from Banana Republic. It's got a Silver Mountain water feel to it. You can also go Bentley for Men Momentum, or Momentum Unlimited. Nice metallic citrus that smells very gentlemanly. We can go even cheaper for the office if you're just dirt poor. Go something like a CK Defy. Really nice vetiver citrus fragrance for the office. You can do... I mean, there's a lot of great fragrances. Coach for Men, great fragrance for the office. Salvatore Ferragamo's Bright Leather is a great office fragrance. 90 Pure White from Banana Republic. Black Platinum is a great fragrance. There's so many good ones. Tom Ford Oud Wood. Those are all phenomenal. But to me, my top two office fragrances is Tom Ford Grey Vetiver EDP and Lalique's Lin Sumi. But the other ones are bangers as well. What's the pineapple one? That's Trace Oros from Day 3. I didn't realize how many great office scents I have. I mean, shoot, even Speed Legends from Ex Nihilo is a phenomenal office scent. It's a little explosive, like there's a growl to it for the office, so you might have to be like an executive or something, but it's a great one. What's a good scent profile for a night out at the club? Recommendations for single guys and in a relationship. Night outs at the club, Bulgari Man in Black, sexy kind of black orchid from Tom Ford without the floral orchid notes, so it's kind of more of a Prada black with better performance and better projection. That's a sexy date night killer. If you want something more affordable, Halloween Man Shot. I call this basically Le Male Elixir from Jean-Paul Gaultier without the tobacco, so it's smoother. If you want an intimate night out fragrance, but it's more of a Netflix and chill to me, YSL L'Homme is an absolute killer. Here's a signature scent I recently picked up, Straight to Heaven from By Kilian. This is incredible. Leather, rum, dried fruits, kind of like raisins, craisins, and nuts, but leather and rum booze. I mean, I don't have a single fragrance in my collection that smells like this. Night Killer, also Lalique White and Black. If we're upgrading to something crazy, you can always go Roja's Danger. Sexy, spicy, amber. This is a killer. What are some other night outs? If you want to get on your leather jacket, motorcycle, cowboy vibes, but super sexy. You know, this is a berry white type of fragrance. Lalique's Ombre Noir, which is tobacco, cinnamon, slight vanilla, cognac. This literally smells like pure cognac, but it's got really nice soft touches of tobacco. And the uniqueness of this is this doesn't quite go into angel share territory. It goes way more masculine because it removes most of the sweetness. Only sweetness in this fragrance comes from a tiny bit of cinnamon and cognac. And then they do this like bergamot, papyrus, and mint top. So it's like a green, flashy, projective take on a tobacco cognac fragrance. This is sexy as heck. I mean, this will knock everyone down. But I'll wear that with my wife if I want to be on my grown and sexy vibes. I mean, you could go out with anything, man. Dior Homme Intense, Dior Homme Parfum, Givenchy Gentleman Reserve Privé, YSLY. There's so many great offerings for the date night. Teriyaki Intense from Lattafa. Great cinnamon, amber, masculine vetiver fragrance. There's just so many good ones to choose from, man. Take your pick of the litter. What's a clone of Smoking Hot Killian Apple Hookah Shisha? Just type clone of Killian. The whole Apple Shisha Hookah fragrance is so easy to clone, and like 2 or 3 companies have cloned it. So if you just simply Google it, every clone that pulls up is a great clone of that DNA. But I have a hookah. I haven't smoked it in years, but when I was younger, I used to smoke a ton of hookah. I mean, high school, college, and I'm very familiar with red apple, green apple, double apple, shisha, and stuff like that. And smelling like shisha, apple shisha, to me, just I don't know what's sexy about that. You know, it feels like you live in a dorm room. You know what I'm saying? So that DNA for me is not something I'm ever looking for. Let's see. Have you tried Vulcan Fouet? Is it worth it? Yes, it is worth it. Let's see. Any that smell like concrete. Probably the closest fragrance to concrete is going to be Encre Noir, the black bottle. This one right here. This Encre Noir smells like rain and soil sitting on concrete. All right, let's see if I can get to the bottom. Scent Room, Scent Lab, Beverly Hills Perfumery, Carry Niche, and Indie. Absolutely. Leighton with a bit of Sauvage. Would layering Leighton with a bit of Sauvage Elixir be nice? And what about layering Leighton with OG Aventus or Aventus Cologne? I'm not a fan of the approach to that, but I have never tried it, so I'm not going to speak on whether it's bad or good. I just don't know if that even makes sense in my head, because when I'm making combos, I'm either shooting for contrast or amplification, like to ramp up or tone down a fragrance. So maybe a fragrance is a Ventus style and I want to really ramp up pineapple, so I'm going to do that. Or maybe I want to tone down pineapple with woods, or I want to contrast that DNA profile with something completely different to get something completely new. Leighton is a very sweet fragrance. Sauvage Elixir is a sweet and spicy fragrance. So I feel like doubling up on that type of sweetness doesn't really make sense to me. Leighton with Aventus, you kind of have vanilla and medicinal cherry-ish vibes mixing with pineapple. I don't really get how that would go well. Out of all those that I'm seeing on your list, probably the safest bet is mixing Leighton with Aventus Cologne, but I don't think any of those sound good in my mind. Is Grasslands and Midnight Hour as good as people say? Fendi, if you have less than 20 fragrances, yes. Midnight Hour is basically a twist on Aventus. Grassland actually is really nice, but again, at the end of the day, we're talking about Banana Republic. Soft in performance, but they have some good offerings that smell good in the air. Grassland does smell good in the air. It's like a synthetic grass and lemon, almost like a knockoff Oolong Cha, but a little bit more artificial green in there. It is very nice. I do love the smell of it. It is good. You're going to struggle with performance, but I think with fragrances like these, I'm going to hit myself 15, 20 times with this and get the performance I'm looking for. But yeah, Midnight Hour is a pineapple twist, and Grasslands kind of smells like an artificial green grass with a hint of lemon. It's really nice. What do you think about LV Symphony? Not worth the price, ever. The only fragrance I'm willing to buy in the current state of the entire LV line is Afternoon Swim. I think if you have Afternoon Swim, you have everything. Is it better Off Non-Supremacy Collector's Edition or 9 p.m. Rebel? They're not the same fragrance. They're both great. You can't compare those two. If you were comparing 9 p.m. Rebel to Armaf Preshow 1, then I would say buy Preshow 1. But don't compare Collector's Edition to anything, because you can't compare it to anything. It is not a Ventus. Do you think light blue is a good summer fragrance? I always discourage people from getting Dolce & Gabbana light blue. Only buy Dolce & Gabbana light blue Eau Intense so you get the performance. Dolce & Gabbana is trying to capitalize off of their name right now, so they're still charging $40, $50, $60 for Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue, which is absolutely ridiculous considering it's one of the worst performing fragrances out there. But Eau Intense will get you like 4 to 6 hours. So always get Eau Intense version of Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue, and in that case, yes, it's a great fragrance. I want to get Mancera Amora Cafe. What are your opinions? So many people argue with me about my opinion on Amora Cafe, but I'm not going to spend $100 to smell like coffee. I'm not. The only coffee fragrance in my journey right now that warrants $100 to $150 price tag is La Tacita de Café from Day 3 Fragrances, because you're not just getting a coffee fragrance. It smells more like roasted beans and not like a latte. So it's like roasted beans, a little bit spicy, has like bergamot and vanilla, and it's just a more unique fragrance that for coffee lovers would be like, you wouldn't just smell like coffee, like you would smell like a very exotic roasted coffee bean with some character. If you want to smell like a latte, just get Kamra Kawa and call it a day. Amora Cafe does smell slightly better than Kawa, but the fact that I can get Kawa for $20, $30, Amora Cafe does not smell that much better than it. You know, I always say you're going to smell like a Starbucks wearing Amora Cafe, and people get all mad. No, you don't. You don't smell like a Starbucks. I'm just like, well, bro, you smell like a coffee. You smell like a latte. Like, go watch women review Amora Cafe, and all of them will say unanimously, I love the smell of Amora Cafe. I would never want my man to wear Amora Cafe. It's just not sexy. It smells great, but it's not sexy. So if you're buying and wearing Amora Cafe, you're wearing it because you like it, not because you're trying to get compliments. When women smell you and you smell like a caramel latte, they're not thinking too much of you. They're going to friend zone you immediately. Which, that's fine. Like, if you're not trying to get ladies, you're just trying to wear a fragrance that you like and smells like coffee, I mean, by all means. But Kamra Kawa smells amazing, and it's like $20, $30. It'll get you the same vibe, and the performance is crazier. You know, 1-2 sprays of Kawa will last you the entire day. Opinions on Spice Bomb. Spice Bomb Extreme is beautiful. Spice Bomb Infrared is beautiful. All the rest of them are good, but not worth the price to me. What performance do you get from LV Symphony? It varies, because with LV fragrances, you're dealing with aquatics and citrus medleys and stuff like that. So I'm not going to tell you the performance I get, because with everybody it's different, but generally most LV fragrances can get you north of 6 hours. But I just don't think Symphony is interesting enough of a fragrance to warrant the price. Again, I think Afternoon Swim is more interesting than Symphony. And LV fragrances are just so overpriced for such a simple DNA that so many companies have nailed. Like, honestly, my Sahib Intense right here cost me $30, and it competes with just about every single LV fragrance out there. Imagination, L'Immensité, Afternoon Swim, Meteor, Ombre Nomad, even though Nomad's not really in the line of those citrus aquatics that I just named. This still knocks out everything. So for me, like I said, if I had to buy an LV fragrance, I would get Afternoon Swim because it's more interesting, a little bit more off the beaten path, and you're still going to get that citrus aquatic vibe where you could wear it to a beach, wear it to a pool party, wear it at a hotel, you know, wear it on Venice Beach, stuff like that. But if you need an affordable option that can give you the same vibe and still smell expensive, this is a $30 fragrance that could put serious challenge to any from the LV line. But if I had to buy LV line, I'm getting Afternoon Swim. That's the only fragrance I think warrants the money. And also, if you have Afternoon Swim, you have everything. Or you can always go Elysium, or you can go Tigar from Bulgari. All three of those are virtually the same fragrance. It's just what type of vibe you want to go for. You want to go for youthful, luxury, citrus aquatic? Do you want to go for classy, citrus aquatic, which would be like Elysium? Or do you want to go just totally rich kid on a yacht with imagination? You know, but again, imagination, Afternoon Swim, Immensity, all that stuff to me is the same fragrance. How would you describe Dark Lord Killian? I don't have experience with that fragrance. I'm trying. Okay. Okay. So, Cool Water Night Edition. Oh, it's okay. What's your top 5 Killians? I didn't think much of Straight to Heaven. May need to revisit. Well, the problem with Straight to Heaven is the performance is terrible, but I don't have a single fragrance that smells like it, and it's an incredible fragrance. So I'm just going to put fragrances under Straight to Heaven to boost the projection. Like I'll just put a vanilla under this or something. But man, sexy leather, super subdued rum, dried fruits. You wouldn't think that smells incredible, but man, this is the sexiest fragrance. This is like a aged, kind of almost dark chocolatey type of leather, patchouli, dried fruits, kind of like raisins. It has a bit of raisins type of vibe, like green and black raisins, rum. Like this is just, and it's such a like smooth criminal type of fragrance. None of those accords I just named are like very loud. This is all like wrapped up in a smooth tobacco leaf, but the tobacco isn't that spicy. This is crazy. Matter of fact, let me spray this up right now. Oh man, I smelled this fragrance and I immediately fell in love. I was like, yo, look at my collection. I don't have a single fragrance in my collection that smells like Straight to Heaven. I have fragrances with all of the notes that are in here. None of them smell like Straight to Heaven. But everybody will tell you it's not worth buying because the performance is terrible. This is my thoughts. I would only wear this fragrance if I was going on a date, taking my girl to dinner, taking her to a theater, something indoors, dark, late at night. And I just need this fragrance to go for like 2-3 hours. I might throw a vanilla under it or a tobacco or a cinnamon just to get a little more performance, and I'm hitting myself with 20 sprays of this. I know that sounds absurd, but that's how bad the performance is on this. It's like L'Homme. It's the same as YSL L'Homme. I have to have YSL L'Homme in my collection. It is Netflix and chill certified. I have never missed with YSL L'Homme. There's a reason why my dent is so crazy on L'Homme. It always gets the job done. This fragrance, yes, you got to spray it 15, 20 times, but every single time you will knock them down. Every single time. And you won't have a single fragrance in your collection that smells like this. I'm telling you, Straight to Heaven is the truth. My favorite fragrances from by Killian currently is obviously Angel Share, Ginger Dash, Roses on Ice is okay. Straight to Heaven is nice. Black Phantom is cool. What's the Rihanna fragrance? Good Boy, Shy Guy or something. Don't Be Shy, I think. Pierre Cardin is Forever My Scent. Okay. Okay. What do you think about Creed Aventus Absolute? Amazing. Curious. I can get it on the low, not sure if I should get it. Yeah, Creed Aventus Absolute is amazing. Best Creed Aventus for me right now. Mora Cafe smells very thin to me. It should. Dude, what I find crazy about frag combos have gotten so huge, the middle schoolers are buying niche fragrances. I mean, here's the thing, guys. Middle schoolers and high schoolers, it's not crazy that they buy niche fragrances. Do they buy they'll buy the latest Xbox and spend $1,000 to get the console, the controllers, and a game, and that just gets you started. Then they'll buy the annual pass, and they'll get more games and controller modifications and everything. That's like 7 niche fragrances right there. They'll buy Jordans, they'll buy Panda Dunks. They're fine spending $100 to $300 on shoes multiple times over. They buy games, they buy shoes. They buy different fits and Nike Techs and all this different apparel and stuff and glasses and cars. But spending $100, $200, $300 on a fragrance is not far-fetched for a kid, especially with parents and they work jobs and there's so many easy ways to make money now. And you got to remember, a lot of these young kids, they don't need this kind of a collection. They don't need that. You know, when you look at the average kid in high school, middle school, and in college, their collection, you know what I'm saying, looks like 4 or 5 fragrances. You know what I'm saying? And that's it. So it's not far-fetched for kids to get into niche perfumery. They're just not going to be crazy about it. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to see a kid with 20, 30 bangers unless you're talking about the Fragrance Boy or one of these little content creators that, quite honestly, I think is bootlegging their fragrances, and they're finding a way to get all these fragrances. They don't got the money like that. But some of them are big enough to get it, but that doesn't represent the average consumer base for kids 13 to 25. So now, there are some exceptions to the rule. Coffee Sage, Amber, Robert Graham Velour. Okay. Let's see. Frankie, I'm not a rerun, man. Listen, when people come in here, they come in here and ask me questions because I'm the truth. I'm the truth. My fragrance game is immaculate. And what I mean by that is I'm smelling hundreds, if not thousands of fragrances a month. Clone, niche, dupe, inspired, I know it all. I got it either behind me or I got it over there in my Decant little station. So people come in here asking me legit questions and I spend quality time on every single one. This is a very selfless live. When people ask me a question, I give them the full extent of the answer to bring them maximum value. It's not about me and it's not about you either. It's about the person asking the question. So when you come in here and think it's a rerun, it's not a rerun. I'm genuinely going through every question one by one, and I'm not skipping anybody. And the goal is, can I make it to the bottom of the list by the end of the night? And when I get to the bottom of the list, I say, thank the Lord I got done with this, and then I go to sleep for the night. So this is about bringing value. If I don't get to your question, well, I always get to your question, but if I don't get to your question right when you type it, then you just need to have patience. And if you don't have patience, this isn't the live for you, because the line is packed 2 blocks down the street when people come in here to watch me, because they know I'm going to give them a quality answer to a question that they need help with. And that's why people wait. So if you can't wait, I'm so sorry. I wish I could, screen print 4 or 5 of me and we could all go live simultaneously, but life is just not a speed run. It's a nice light jog. So slow down or keep it moving. Nomad and Absolute Slim are my favorite preferred LV fragrances. The rest are meh. I like that. I like that choice. I would actually have to agree with that. Mancera, Boise, and Club de Nuit Prechot. Oh, Prechot, Paris. Prechot. I'm picking that over that fragrance for sure. I love Black Phantom and found Intoxicated interesting. Yes. Hi, bro, from Argentina. Hello, Fabril Lopez. ¿Qué onda, wey, por favor? Does Boss sell quality scents? Yeah, Boss Bottled Unlimited, Boss Bottled Intense, Boss Bottled Elixir. Very nice fragrances. Bless Baraka. Very nice fragrance from Initio. Hey, XK. I wore the Day 3 coffee fragrance to work. Couldn't stop smelling myself. I tried to open a bottle to smell the juice and sprayed my eye. Yeah, hey, listen. Their fragrances are so radiant. I'm so impressed by Day 3's ability to have great projection on everything. Every single fragrance from the house of Day 3 has phenomenal projection, and you smell yourself. I don't always need to smell myself with a fragrance, but my gosh, if I love a fragrance, I want to smell myself. I'm not asking for much. And if you mess with anything from the house of Day 3, you will smell yourself for hours. And I love that. Some fragrances perform 6 hours, some 8, some 12, some next day, but they all have consistent 3-4 foot scent bubble around you the whole day, and it's such a great experience. That's why their fragrances are so easy to buy. You never have to question performance, even in their lightest fragrance. What's your best pick on summer fragrances? I don't have go-tos for summer, but some great standouts that I can immediately look at is FOMO Fragheads Asylum for 20 bucks. This is cloning Elysium, which is phenomenal. That's a very easy wear for the summer. Silver Mountain Water DNA for the summer. Off Non Supremacy in Heaven, 20 bucks, killer. Club de Nuit iconic. Cloning Bleu de Chanel EDP. And people always ask me, like, that's why I had to, you know, stun on them and go with the straight niche top right here, because a lot of y'all don't think I have the originals to my clones. There's not a single clone in my collection that I don't have the original to. Like, you guys got to quit with all these weird accusations. Like, fragrances are coming here in such abundance, it's not even funny. People say, oh, you don't have Bleu de Chanel, blah, blah, blah. Like, I have Bleu de Chanel EDP sitting in a box. Is it necessary? No. 100 ml Bleu de Chanel EDP in a box. Maison Francis Kirkjohn jumbo bottle of 540 Baccarat Rouge. I don't wear it. Why? Because the clones suffice. There's no need for this stuff, guys. If the original fragrances are necessary, I'm going to tell you, you know, get the OG, you have to get it. But if they're not necessary, why? Why should you waste money? You're going to spend $200 to $500 on a niche fragrance, or $1,000 in some cases. That's literally like 20 fragrances. So I'm not going to tell you to wear Bleu de Chanel. You don't need to wear Bleu de Chanel Eau de Parfum or Parfum anymore. You can wear Iconic. There's so many other great selections. You don't need to wear Erosia Elysium. FOMO Fragheads Asylum is 1-to-1 to Elysium. You literally don't need to wear it. But if you want to go OG, we can talk OG. And this is why it's so important, guys, for you guys to be getting decants. Like, I can't stress this enough. Do you guys try fragrances before you buy your, oh my gosh, buy your fragrances? You know, like, there's just, look, we got the whole line of Javoy. We've got travels, we've got full freaking, we got full sets. We're trying fragrances, guys. We don't just sit around and, oh man, I apologize, guys, for the orientation. We don't just walk around blind buying anything. I don't care if I have money or not. I make plenty of money. I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys to blind buy fragrances and act like people are just made of money. I'm testing everything. Even if I don't carry a full bottle over there, I have the OG and a decant, and I warrant the purchase. Oh, well, that's not an OG. But, you know, we've got decants for days, guys. So I practice what I preach, and these decants aren't just designer. We got Chanel sitting here. We got Born to Stand Out in there. Like, we're not, look, Mary Jane, Born to Stand Out. Like, I really love what I do. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to justify a purchase until I can justify a purchase. Whether money is a concern or not. So, anyway, that's my little soapbox rant. Okay, let's catch back up. What's the best cologne for guys? Versace Eros is versatile, Master. It's one of the most complimented fragrances of all time. I think you should get Versace Eros EDT. Even though the EDP is the highest performer and the Parfum is the best smelling, you can get the EDT for like $35 right now for a 100 ml juicy big bottle, and you're not really lacking in performance. It's one of the very rare EDTs that you can get 12 hours of performance on. You know, Versace Eros, even in an EDT, you get about 2 to 3 hours per spray on this fragrance. So the fact that you can get $35 100 ml, it's like, you don't really need to get the longer lasting fragrance or the slightly better smelling fragrance when you have to pay an extra $40 to get it. 35 bucks, jumbo bottle of Versace Eros EDT. You'll get 12 hours of performance on it and call it a day. Okay, best summer perfume is Issey Miyake Pour Homme. That's false, but it is a good fragrance. Floating shells with the dim lighting for your fragrances look immaculate. Thank you, buddy. Thank you. Appreciate you. Wedding fragrance recommendation. Okay, if it's a wedding and I'm going pure formal, I have a couple of ideas. I'm not going to show them all, but Diaghilev is a great choice. You got to be a grown man to wear this fragrance. You can't be a little boy, and you can't be dressed like a wedding guest. A wedding fragrance easily would be Diaghilev from Roja. You know, the Jeremy fragrance, power! You know, this is like, if you're a little boy in any regard, whether you dress like a little boy, whether you look like a little boy, Diaghilev's a fragrance where you wear it to any wedding party, no one will smell remotely close to you. Power, prestige, big money kind of fragrance for sure. Another wedding fragrance, if you want to be more like casual with it, I would definitely wear Vetiver Sensual from Mancera just to be like on that safe green side. I don't think it's appropriate to wear sweet fragrances at a wedding. Like, you're a real douchebag, I think, if you rock a sweet fragrance to a wedding, because you're trying to grab attention with a sweet fragrance. And most of the time when you go to a wedding, you're bringing a chick with you. So it's like, you don't need to be that loud. You just need to smell uber masculine. So probably the sweetest I would go is like an Aventus Absolu from Creed. Or for all my clone lovers, Club de Nuit Prichot would be a great wedding stunner of a fragrance. Creed's Royal Oud, or Oud Royal from Ministry of Oud. Royal Ouds, you smell like a mafia boss. That would be a good wedding fragrance. Now, again, I'm naming like super signature, no one's going to smell like you fragrances, but then I'll go to casual wedding vibes in a second. But like Speed Legends Night Drive would be a killer wedding fragrance. This smells like you just bought a brand new Testarossa. It smells like this metallic, ambery expensiveness. That's a killer type of fragrance for a wedding. Bois du Portugal from Creed, or a really close second clone of it that's a designer. Lalique Pour Homme Lion, really nice wedding type of fragrance. Any more like super killers? Taif Oud, Taif Rose with Oud. This is a stunner of a wedding type of fragrance. What else? Danger, I think you can get away with it from Roja. A very ambery, masculine, super masculine amber with some soft touches of spice and greens in it. Very nice, sexy fragrance. If you want to kind of play with a little bit of sweetness but still have uber masculinity, Dior Homme Intense, you can get away with it because even though it's super sweet, women just think it's absolutely sexy, so you can get away with that. Noir de Noir from Tom Ford, star-studded type of fragrance. Okay, now if we're going with, you don't want to smell insanely signature, like nobody can get on your level, but you want to just have like a sexy single guy bachelor attending a wedding, like you hope to meet your next wife at the wedding, then we're going to change up the vibe completely. So just give me a quick sec. Need to tone up and get me some water and wet the palette real quick. Man, y'all make it hard to catch up on chat. Okay, so if I'm trying to knock something down at a wedding, like you're a single bachelor, I'm gonna name clones and designer fragrances. So if we're talking designer fragrances that you want to knock something down, Gucci Guilty Elixir, Gentleman Reserve Privé, Gentleman Boisé, obviously Sauvage Elixir will work. Fahrenheit Le Parfum, not the EDT, is a killer. 1 Million will work. Dior Homme Intense, Dior Homme Parfum, Tom Ford Black Orchid, African Leather or Afro Leather, Grand Soir from MFK, Teriyaki Intense, Off-Non Supremacy Collector's Edition, Armaf Prichot or Aventus Absolu, Parfums de Marly Carlisle or Cassius, Spice Bomb Extreme or Odyssey Homme Black Edition, Cayenne Classic if you need a Dior Homme Intense alternative. I think even surprisingly White Musk or Musk Therapy from Initio or Glorious Oud Royal Blanc would be quite signature at a wedding if you're trying to soft touch it. Noir de Noir or Club de Nuit Intense for women is a great clone of Noir de Noir. Let's think of some. Oh, Guerlain's L'Homme Ideal Extreme, Cherry Almond Champagne, right? Supreme L'Homme Extreme, though, from Fragrance World. You can get this fragrance on Amazon, 100 ml right now for $20. This is Cherry Almond Champagne. So incredible wedding fragrance, cocktail hour type of feel. Very luxurious. You can get original Guerlain's L'Homme Ideal Extreme or Supreme L'Homme Extreme from Fragrance World and call it a day. What else do we got for a wedding if you're broke? Tom Ford Oud Wood or Maison Alhambra Woody Oud. Off Non-Rare Carbon or Tom Ford Eau de Ombre Leather. Not ombre leather, Eau de Ombre Leather. Tuscan leather could also work in cold weather at a wedding to be a star-studded killer. Tom Ford Grey Vetiver Parfum or Grey Vetiver EDP would be star-studded. Yeah, so I mean, there's just a ton of options, guys. Okay, what other? I don't do shout-outs, Echo. Sorry, buddy. YSLY EDP versus Blue Talisman versus Sedley. YSLY shouldn't be in that comparison because YSLY is a nighttime, sexy, seductive, masculine fragrance. Blue Talisman is an everyday, upscale, casual, and so is Sedley. Blue Talisman beats Sedley. Sedley is the safest of all the three to wear. Aventus Cologne, good or meh? If you're a fragrance snob, Aventus Cologne is a great fragrance to have. If you're just somebody with a small collection that wants to know what's the best Aventus to get, I would say get Aventus Absolute. Actually, I take that back. If you're under 25 years old, get Aventus Cologne. If you're above 25 years old, get Aventus Absolute. It's a bit smokier, more masculine. French Lover is pretty good. What's the 540 Baccarat dupe? Club de Nuit. Man, it's been a minute since I've messed with clones. Untold. Club de Nuit Untold. It's got like a rainbowish gold and purple type of bottle. Best BR 540 clone. What about the longest lasting fragrance? Some super nuclear fragrances here, and I'll actually change up the view for you guys. Nuclear fragrances. Jimmy Choo Man Intense. Nuclear. And when I say nuclear, I'm saying all day long type of fragrance. Diaghilev by Roja, absolutely nuclear fragrance. Casa Murati Lyra, nuclear. Tres Oros, nuclear. Let's see if we can find some more nuclears. Cassius or Carlisle is not nuclear, but it's certainly close to nuclear. Teriyaki Intense, nuclear. Super nuclear. African Leather, nuclear. Dior Homme Intense, nuclear. Club de Nuit or Tom Ford Noir de Noir, nuclear. Black Orchid, nuclear. Armaf Peugeot, nuclear. Zanzibar, nuclear. Oud for Glory, Oud for Greatness, nuclear. Amethyst, nuclear. Off Non-Rare Carbon, nuclear. Tuxedo, or what is that? Kismet? Yeah, Kismet, nuclear. Portrait of a Lady is not nuclear. Kawa, nuclear. Kadlaj Shiaka Blue, nuclear. Is there anything else that's nuclear? Grand Soir is fairly nuclear in the smoothest way possible. Yeah, there's some nuclear frags for you. Try Velvet Musk, one of the best musk. Okay. Stronger with You absolutely is a good fragrance, but Angel Share is better. Altair is a good fragrance, it's just not my speed. And Liquid Brune is a close enough clone to Altair by about 90%. So even if I was to get Altair, I would just get Liquid Brune. I don't think it's worth the purchase. Come on, Fendi, you know the answer to that. Altairs. Here's a good question, Fendi. When's the last time you were gifted a $10,000 gift? Altair's praline and bergamot mix threw me off the first time I smelled it, but I needed to revisit it. Understandable. Have you smelled the new Parfums de Marly Castley? I haven't, but a lot of people I respect have reviewed it already, and I don't think it's worth the money. I think Greenlee is still the better fragrance, to be honest with you. Or even Lafayette Street from Bond Number 9. Love Casa Marati Mephisto. Mephisto is incredible. I think it's one of my best blues currently. How many of y'all have seen Perfume Story? I've not seen it. Is it bad that I only buy nuclear fragrances? If it's bad, ask the people you're around. They'll give you feedback. What's your favorite Yellowstone cologne? I don't have one. Summer fragrances, please. I named a lot of them. What do you think of Gucci Intense Oud? Would you know a cheaper alternative that's just as good? I don't, buddy. I don't. But I would say a great rule of thumb to start investigating to get Gucci alternatives would be Bentley. Look up Bentley fragrances. You can get just about every Bentley fragrance for under $30, and they will mimic a lot of the metallic DNAs that you can find in Gucci. Remember, oh, I got to the bottom. Remember when you did Ministry of Oud Satin? Let's see, remember when you did Ministry of Oud Satin? I thought I got it the right one. I ended up buying Ministry of Oud Amber Oud on accident. Have you smelled Ministry of Oud Amber Oud? I have not. The only Ministry of Ouds I have is Oud Satin and Oud Royal, which is Royal Oud and Oud Satin Mood. How many bottles do you have total? I don't know, probably... This isn't even my whole collection. I think I have over 200 bottles and over 500 fragrances total. I just got the Lattafa Black Orchid clone. Okay, so Zara Man, do you have that one? There's like 7 Black Orchid clones. This is the only one I recommend. Zara Man is the best Tom Ford Black Orchid clone, and I actually prefer this over Black Orchid. It smells better. It's 1-to-1, but I feel like this tones down on the orchid just slightly to make it more masculine, more chocolatey, that chocolate patchouli vibe, that cacao patchouli, chocolate cakey vibe. It smells like Prada Black with orchid in it. If you're going to spend your money on a fragrance you want to last, how long? 1 million Golden Oud is an absolute beauty and underrated. Okay. I haven't tried it. Yellowstones are pretty good. I recommend the lighter colored one. Okay. Send some to me. I'll review it. Definitely believe when I get older, I'll appreciate the gentleness of Creed frags. Hey, not all Creed frags are gentle. Millesime Imperial is not gentle. Absolute Aventus is not gentle. They do have a lot of gentle frags, though. Virgin Island Water, Silver Mountain Water, Royal Mayfair. Royal Oud is gentle, but beastly powerful in its projection. Yeah. Banana Republic Metallic Rain is solid. Good Silver Mountain Water alternative-ish. My favorite colognes are Eternity and Fahrenheit. You need to go outside more. Those are good fragrances, but that definitely tells me you're not outside. Try anything from Velhem Perfume, Mango Skin. No, I love Mango Skin is great. Polly is really good. Polly something. The tea fragrance is really nice. I'll have a couple of those soon. How long have you been collecting? Not long. I've been wearing fragrances for 25 years, but I always wore the same like 5 or 6 fragrances for like 15 years. And in the last 5 years, I've been collecting. I use Gucci Guilty EDP and layer it with La Nuit de l'Homme. Interesting. That's cool. Have you tried Gravity? No, I have not. Oh, 10 hours plus? Okay. Green Irish Tweed. Yeah, Green Irish Tweed is soft. But it's not soft. It's not as soft as Silver Mountain Water, Virgin Island Water, and Mayfair. But Green Irish Tweed I can typically get 4 to 6 hours with. I'm a big fan of Poly, best frag ever. No, Fendi, stop. That's a lie. Fendi, you're lying. That's a lie because La Corday beats that fragrance out with a fat, ugly stick, and so does Wulong Cha, and so does Wulong Cha X. As far as tea fragrances. It's a great fragrance, though, I'll tell you that. You ain't wrong that it's a great fragrance, but best tea fragrance ever? That's crazy. That's crazy, especially performance ain't that special on that fragrance. Performance is super weak. Are you a fan of Bond Number 9? No, not really. I mean, Tribeca, Wall Street, Lafayette Street, the Dubai collection is okay. I wouldn't buy any Bond Number 9, guys. I'm gonna keep it real with you. But they have good smells, but they're not worth the price. Like, I feel like Bond Number 9 should be priced somewhere around $150. Their price points are just stupid. I don't know who has more ridiculous price points, Bond Number 9 or Mind Games. Yeah, dude. I mean, dude, try Wulong Cha or La Corday from Montclair, dude. Come on, man. Jean-Paul Gaultier, what about it? Favorite parfums de Marley? Ah, that's tough, man, because I don't think any of them are worth buying, but I'm an idiot, you know? Everybody disagrees with me on that. Layton's good. Greenlee's good. Actually, no. I take that back. My favorite parfums de Marley is easily Wajan, Galloway, and Carlisle. And then right behind that, you have Sedley. Hate to say Pegasus, but it's my own favorite. I don't care what you guys think. Greenlee. And then, you know, your Percival, Haltane, Altair, those kind of fall in ties for third for me. But my favorite PDMs is easily Wajan, Galloway, and Carlisle. Bois Imperial or Ganymede? Wait. Most people would say Bois Imperial. I would say Ganymede. I agree with that, Alessandro. Have you tried Wave Child? I have. I think it's really nice. I don't know if I'd buy a bottle, but it's really nice, and I know many of my friends have bottles, including Joel. Room 1015 is really nice. I'll be reviewing a lot of those. Oh, by the way, guys, if you're not in tuned, my game show, Wheel of Fragrance, drops. A new episode of Wheel of Fragrance drops tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. Pacific, 9 a.m. Eastern, and it features Selly Knows It All. So tune into that. We had a really awesome episode this weekend, and I've already got that queued up. You guys will love it. Exclusive is more nature with the Civet note, throws some people off. Civet always throws people off. I'll send you a sample of 1 Million Golden Oud. How do I get in touch? So Scott, if you look in the comments or in the description of any video I post, there's a section that says, would you like to send me a fragrance? And then it has a private address in that. So you can just take that down and send it to my private address box. People send me stuff all the time. So I have a private box that I have to drive to that's just for scent bubble related stuff. So if you want to send it there, and then send me an email letting me know you sent it if you have tracking or something like that. That way I can let you know when I receive it, and so that I can shout you out when I review it. Sedley or Greenlee? Greenlee is more interesting. Sedley is more mass appealing in the sense that it's more versatile. But Greenlee is versatile as well. It's just Sedley is less sweet. Jean-Paul Gaultier is all I've used. Can you recommend something new for me to try? In the sweet fresh category, yeah, try Valentino Uomo Intense. It's Uomo Intense, U-O-M-O, Valentino Uomo Intense. Upgrade to that. I think you'll get what you get in Jean-Paul Gaultier in a different way and have more versatility and smell a little bit sexier. What's the best everyday fragrance under $50? I'm broke. Some great everyday under $50 is FOMO Fragheads Asylum. That's under 50 bucks. Glorious Oud Royal Blanc, under 40 bucks. I think it's 30 or 35. Amir Cedrat Essence, which is Cedrat Boisé with a note of green cantaloupe, or honeydew, sorry. Amir Celestial, which is Ganymede, but way more mass appealing than Ganymede. Great fragrance for 25 bucks. Tarathi Blue is easily a great everyday. Citrus Aquatics, cloning Tygar, that's 20 bucks. I got my bottle for 11 bucks, which is crazy. Hey, believe it or not, you can get Versace Eros in 100 ml for $35. I have a 50 because I don't wear this fragrance that much. It's just for reference, but you can get a giant bottle of this for 35 bucks pretty much anywhere. That's a great everyday wear. There's just so many good everyday wears. Suspiro Padrino, latest release. Haven't smelled it. Do you have... no, I don't have that, Carlos. Do you review the fragrances people send? Absolutely, if I haven't already. You guys should know my channel, man. I post a review every single day. Every single day. Ever since I started my YouTube channel, which was exactly 1 year ago, I have posted a fragrance review every single day since I started. Have you smelled Hassavat? Of course I've smelled Hassavat. Armani Code Parfum's a bit underrated. I agree. I don't think it's underrated. I think it's just redundant. You know, people have smelled Bleu de Chanel, Invictus Aqua. You know, it's earthy and classy. I mean, either Bleu de Chanel or Armani Code Absolute, to me, are the same fragrance. And it's just more popular, Bleu de Chanel. But Armani Code, a lot of people wear it, and a lot of people do love it. It's one of the best sellers in Sephora. Thoughts on Dumont Nitro Red versus Nitro Red Intensely? Both have great performance, so it's really just a preference. You ever smelled Exclusive to Bach from Maison Alhambra? Yes, but a lot of people buy it and love it at first and sell it later. Absolutely, anytime, Mikal. Thoughts on Blue Talisman? I don't have it currently, but it's on its way to my house right now. But Blue Talisman is awesome. Art of the Universe is good. Lattafa's Taj, or Fragrance World Taj 2 is good. I love Ex Nihilo. Blue Talisman, is it worth the money? No. Art of Universe or Taj 2 will get you there. I think Taj 2 is more accurate, but Art of the Universe gives you that 10 plus hours of performance due to the ramp up in a lot of synthetics. But Blue Talisman is good. Good everyday semi-blue. Poets of Berlin is a great take on Royal Oud from Creed DNA. I would agree with that. Amouage Reflection Man or Reflection Man 45? 45, without question. What is your least favorite fragrance you own? I don't know. I love almost everything that I have. I don't blind buy, so it's rare that I would ever have something I don't love. But, yeah. I mean, look at my collection, dude. These aren't random fragrances. I handpick everything I buy. Have any brands reached out to you yet? Yes. I mean, the day 3 discovery set that we gave away in the 2K sub giveaway, that was given by Michael Paul, the perfumer of day 3. He hand gave that to me and said, give that to your subscribers. I just got Blue Talisman. It smells good, but absolute piss poor performance. Yeah, Scott. I mean, the thing is in all honesty, I went to the Ex Nihilo boutique in Hollywood. I'm sure you saw that episode. Almost every Ex Nihilo fragrance has the same weak performance as that, and only about 10 to 15 of their fragrances come in extraits. So one of the things I tell people all the time is if you own an Ex Nihilo fragrance, you need to get in the habit of spraying 15 to 20 sprays. It's just the way life is. Spray 15 to 20 sprays and you'll get the performance that you need. It still won't be spectacular, but it'll be north of 4 hours. It'll be 4 to 6 hours generally if you nuke yourself with the fragrance, and that's just how it is. Or find a fragrance that comes in an extrait. I have Gold Immortals extrait and Outcast Blue coming in an extrait, and those you can generally get 8 hours plus, but most Ex Nihilo, due to their high concentration of really quality raw materials, their fragrances just naturally sit softer on the skin from a projection standpoint. What do you have from Ex Nihilo? I have Flora Narcotique and Speed Legends Night Drive. And this week I have Gold Immortals, Blue Talisman, and Outcast Blue coming. Jean-Paul Gaultier needs to step up the game. They made any groundbreaking fragrance. Oh, other Ex Nihilos I have is Patchouli Memory and the Hedonist and the Hedonist Extrait. My least favorite is Palo Santo by Cremo. Well, that makes total sense. I just got Paris Corner Noof, Snishane Hasavat clone. Can you give me a heads up on what I'm getting myself into? No, because when I want a Hasavat clone, I go to this. I don't mess with that clone you got, but I do hope it serves you well. How much clone do you have? This is most of it, but I have a lot more. Is Tarathi Blue more close to Tygar or Vibrato? Tygar, for sure. Tried 10 sprays of Blue Talisman, maybe got 2 hours. Yeah, 10's not enough, Scott. I said 15, 20, brother. And most of it's got to be on skin, not clothes. Yeah, I can understand you'd be disappointed on performance for sure, especially spending that much for retail. But man, 15, 20 sprays on skin, brother, if you want that fragrance to go. Another cheat code is you could take one of your more synthetic, metallic, or citrus fragrances and give yourself 2 sprays or so under that, or put on unscented lotion before you apply, and that'll ramp up projection and longevity on that fragrance. I can normally squeeze about 6 hours out of Blue Talisman when I nuke myself and put on unscented lotion. But you got to nuke yourself. I got PDM Sedley coming in, nice. I've heard people from the Middle East tell me not to spray Armaf or Saucy or Off-Non perfumes directly on the skin. Is there any validity to it? If people from the Middle East are telling you that, then they're not people you know. You're watching too much YouTube. I mean, they are the ones that made the fragrance. And most of them manufacture your American fragrances. All right, guys. Hey, last minute questions, put them in the chat. I'm going to take a piss. Ask me your last minute questions. We'll run through them. And then we'll call it a night, man. It's been a good night tonight. I'll be right back. Can't believe it's 12:30 over here. You guys always keep me up. Is Aventus and Hasselblad have the same DNA? No. They're kind of the same fragrance, but almost entirely different. The pineapple in Aventus is smoky and radiant and vibrant, similar to Versace Eros Energy. And in the base, you have a smoky birch and cedar and a little bit of oak moss, but it's really a smoky, woody pineapple that's very radiant and vibrant. When you move over to Hasselblad, the pineapple changes, and it's more of a canned, dull, D-O-L-E pineapple. And there's a significant ramp up in oak moss. So it's way more earthy and a more sweet candied pineapple. So they're similar in that they're both pineapple on woods fragrances, but they're entirely different because the pineapple style goes from radiant to subdued and candied, and the woods go from smoky to earthy due to a significant ramp up in oak moss. Is Greenlee close to Coach Green? Slightly, but more vetiver in Coach Green. They're both close in that they have a synthetic candied green apple note to them, but Greenlee is fresher and Coach Green is more candy. Coach Green almost smells like a green Jolly Rancher. Greenlee almost has more of an aquatic blue talisman feel to the green note. Feels more natural. Montclair recommendations. The only recommendation for me right now for Montclair is La Corday, which smells like honey lemon tea. Which is your favorite, Aventus or Hasselblad? It depends. Hasselblad if I want to smell older and classier, and Aventus Absolute if I want to smell younger. I'm 36, so I feel like Aventus Absolute knocks a couple years off, unless you're 25 or less. If you're 25 or less, it always makes you smell older. But again, Aventus Absolute is a more radiant, bright pineapple, so it's a little more bachelor-esque, whereas Hasselblad feels like you're a classy businessman who just has a lot of style. So it's preference based off of occasion. So I would say if you're going for more of a bachelor, wearing the fragrance out, trying to pick up women, trying to look classy and prestigious, you go with Aventus Absolute. If you want a lighter version of that, go down to Aventus Cologne. But if you want to look like a businessman, a Wall Street executive, a financial advisor, a banker, you wear Hasselblad. Greenlee smells like a toned down designer frag. I mean, so does just about every Parfums de Marly. Parfums de Marly and Bond No. 9 are glorified designer brands. And that's what they're going for. They're going for designer fragrances that smell slightly richer. And that's every fragrance from the house, just about. 80 to 90% of the entire line of Parfums de Marly. And I mean, think about it. Sedley is basically just a citrus metallic, upscale. Leighton is just a vanillic, cold weather, sexy, upscale, casual, slightly romantic fragrance, elevated. Wajan is basically just like an angel share-esque cinnamon vanilla. But how many fragrances smell like cinnamon, vanilla, honey, and tobacco? Tons. Freaking Galloway is very unique. Greenlee is just an upscale green. Carlisle is apple pie on steroids. What else? I mean, shoot, Percival, freaking Altair. They're all doing the same thing. They're taking designer fragrances and elevating them. Bond No. 9, Bond No. 9's Lafayette Street, Tribeca, Wall Street, the Dubai collection, so many of Warhol. They're all just upscale designer DNAs. Where do you rate Herod? Herod for me is somewhere in the back 10. My top 5 is 6 through 10 would be Herod would be somewhere in there. Cologne is nice. Cologne slept on, but it's still in my back 10. My top 5 again would probably be Wajon, Galloway, Carlisle, and then from there it might be, I don't know, Leighton Exclusive, Sedley, Altair maybe. I don't know. I only care about my top 3. The only fragrances I would purchase is Carlisle, Galloway, and Wajon. I think everything else you should just buy the clone. I mean, you got a decent deal, Carlos, but that's not incredible. You basically paid a little less dough. I mean, you're comparing your deal to retail, so it looks like a good deal. But if you're paying just what kind of deal you could get on Leighton, you can find Leighton for in the low 100s quite easily. I don't get why Cologne gets so much hate. I don't think Cologne gets hate. It's just not popular from the line. I think Galloway is like top 2 best fragrances from Parfums and Marley, and almost no one talks about it. Carlisle is amazing, and so are the clones. All right, guys. Hey, guess what? I'm signing off. I love y'all. I appreciate you guys so much. Any questions I didn't answer, put them in the comment section below. I'd love to answer them within the day. Give me 24 hours. I always answer every comment quite quickly. Stay tuned this week. Look, tomorrow morning, we got the Wheel of Fragrance featuring Selly Knows It All and a buttload of reviews coming. And we're doing all niche fragrances purchased for the next 4 months. And but we are still keeping the reviews versatile. So all the reviews I'm dropping on a weekly basis will be a mixture of niche, designer, and clone. So that being said, love y'all. Hope you guys received maximum value from my live. And I really appreciate y'all for always keeping the chat lively and healthy and fun for the fragrance community. Love you guys. Take care.